Okay, so what I want to talk about in today's video is a line of significant importance in the golf swing. I think a lot of golfers kind of lose sight of this, although that they kind of know it's there, particularly when you watch professional golf swings. So this video has inspiration. It's a guy called Calvin Hira, who's a golf coach, and I remember he used to write lots of articles back in the early 2000s, and I remember reading these, and he was my first introduction to sort of biomechanics, right, being involved in golf. And it was kind of really, I remember finding it really interesting. And there was this sort of line that he used to refer to, which he saw with athletic professional golf swings. And I thought I would sort of share it with you guys today, right? So if I kind of got set up to the golf ball, this sort of line that we're using as a reference would be a line that you would draw through your lead and through your center of your head, okay? And the simple idea is that in the backswing position, if I sort of demonstrate a backswing position, your head should move to the right of the line for a right-handed golfer. And then as you initiate the downswing, you'll move back into the center of the line. And then again, you'll move through the line, right, like so. So you can see where I am here, I'm still referencing that sort of line. And this is kind of just working around a tilt, right? That's what we've obviously come to know the term as, is just working around a tilt. And a tilt is really important in the golf swing because, well, as we'll elaborate on today, it has a significant influence on a number of things. So how can you go about practicing this? Well, I think the first thing that you can do for golfers who are slightly uncertain is in the backswing position. Is I would personally just propose the idea, because I think it makes it much easier, similar to what I highlighted a minute ago, to just sort of, as you swing back, introduce the tilt. Now, in the golf swing, obviously you can be more vertical than the line that I'm referencing, but that just means in transition, you would have to reintroduce the tilt anyway, as opposed to if we introduce the tilt, then we can move the whole thing more together. So there's options here, but for the premise of this video, I'm going to promote that you allow your upper body to move more towards your right-hand side. Now, if at any stage during this video you start to think, oh, that's not what pros do and they're not centered, I think it's absolutely fine. What I'm sort of talking about at the moment is just allowing the upper body to move slightly to the right-hand side of your stance, but it's still centered, because if you were to draw a line vertically through my feet, you can still see I'm not advocating being over here. All I'm trying to say is that if you allow your upper body to move more to your right-hand side, this produces more of that tilt. If I move more centrally, I'm more vertical, and that means I have to introduce the tilt more in transition. So, first thing you can practice, place a club. I'm just going to draw a line here on the instep of my right ankle, of your trail ankle. Put the club across your shoulders, and basically when you swing back, just try and match them up. So you can see the way that my shoulders are matched up towards that club that's there, and that creates that sort of tilting motion in that backswing. So that'd be the first thing. And then what you can start to do is, as you initiate that downswing, you can kind of move everything together. Now, what I mean by everything together is my head and my lower body can move towards the left-hand side. Again, if I was more vertical, then my lower body would have to move more independently to reintroduce the tilt. So what we mean by the tilt is that the lower body is slightly ahead from a vertical presence in front of the head. So if I was too vertical in the start to my downswing, like so, then what would happen is my hands would come down too narrow, as opposed to on a wider angle. But more apparently, if I sort of demonstrate a more vertical spine angle and then move to the side on, can you see whether it has an effect where the hands work too far out? Now, if I do it differently and I allow my reintroduction of that tilt, then you can see the way my hands can work more to the side of my body. Not this way, this way. So this tilt is important because obviously it changes everything, and it depends how you measure stuff. So I see a lot of golfers that have issues and they reach out for online lessons, and they'll be like, they've had lessons in the past, or they've self-diagnosed that they're over the top and the hands are working out and they're trying to work on getting the hands in. But fundamentally, if you're still moving too much this way and you're not moving the lower body ahead in that rotation, then you can't beat the hands moving out. So I personally think this tilt is really important to understand, especially in the start to the downswing. And it's just a nice little reference. You just always want to imagine that the center of your pelvis is moving slightly ahead of the center of your head, or the top of your spine relative to the lower part of your spine. So this way. So I'm still moving left with my upper body as well. I'm not just moving my lower body behind. I'm moving everything together, but at the same token, my upper body is not moving ahead of my lower body. Now, obviously, with inside this video is talking very much as a must Now, if you're a golfer who kind of gets caught back here too much, then you're obviously going to have to get more feelings of moving more this way. But again, this is what I mean about the importance of the tilt. So we certainly don't want to be this way, but equally we don't want to be too far back this way as well. And that's why I personally think so far, move with a bit of a tilt, and then you can move everything together in transition is the most sound way to move, in my opinion. Okay, so what happens once you get to transition? Well, you'd have demonstrated a backswing, like so, and you'd have started the downswing where you're rotating towards that left-hand side. And then from here, really, it's now just a case of we want to keep clearing that lead side out the way. But again, I like to get the feeling of backswing, and then my sort of downswing thought is to pressure load that lead leg, like so, okay? And then from here, I sort of pivot off that left leg, okay, like so, and then that helps me move this way. And I talked about this in a recent video, which I strongly suggest that you go and watch as well, because I talk about this sort of feeling of pulling the lead side back and throwing that lead side forward. But the reason for this video is, again, you can see if I'm too much this way, then I'm going to get stuck into chicken winging. So the premise in today's video is to understand the importance of tilt, and it's to sort of understand that the tilt is there for every full shot. Obviously on some of the shorter shots we don't need the tilt as much, because we can just move the hands and arms and allow them to fold towards the side of the body. But every time we're trying to introduce that athleticism and full swing, we need to be introducing the tilt. So what I would propose that you work on is, first of all, the backswing, allowing the upper body to move more towards the right hand side, because this means that the whole unit in the downswing can move to the left together whilst maintaining that tilted structure. And then obviously from here you can just rotate and feel like you're pivoting around that lead leg. So I'm not pivoting over it, pivoting around that lead leg, which allows me to drive those arms through towards the target in a really athletic way. So hopefully this video helps you understand the importance of a tilt in motion, not only from the face-on perspective, but also, like I showed you earlier, from the side-on. Working around the tilt helps the arm stay, shall we say, closer to the body, and helps us propel and release those. Moving this way is when you're going to have that sort of dilemma of getting stuck with what your hands and arms are trying to do. See you guys again really soon.